Hey guys, welcome back. On this video, we are going to be trying to repair a RAM chip. This is a RAM chip for an HP printer, a laser printer. I got the printer for free. I haven't had a working printer in quite a number of years, and it had a bad JetDirect network card, which I replaced, and the printer began working again. It's an older printer though, and it only had 8 megabytes of RAM, so I decided that I was going to try and increase the amount of RAM. So I ordered 2 of these 64 megabyte RAM chips for the printer. One of them worked fine, and this one did not. And it just was not detected. As you can see, actually, right there, there's a little IC chip that is stuck to the sticker, and I believe that it used to go right there. So I'm wondering if I can put this on and make it work again. So this is the actual printout from the printer, the configuration, and you can see I had all 3 slots populated. This was the slot 3 was the 8 megabytes that was in it originally. Slot 1 is one of the new modules that worked fine. Slot 2 came up empty even though this module was in it. What do you say we take a look at this under the stereoscope? So I have the stereoscope set up here, and instead of trying to have you look through the eyepiece, what I'm doing is it is actually connected here, back here. There's a power supply and a demuxer, I guess, and I have a cable running to monitor here, and that monitor you will be able to see. So I am going to perch you very precariously on a box in a holder and attempt to film that way so that you can see everything that's going on. So let's do that. Okay, well, let's see how this goes. I have you perched very precariously in front of the monitor, and we're going to take a look at this RAM chip, and there is the part in question. It is obviously not attached anymore. Can you see that? Yes, I think you can. And if you can tell by the pins, it's stuck to the sticker there, and if you can tell by the pins, it looks like it got forcibly removed from the pad, which I will show you over here. Let's take a look at the pad where that came from, right here. So if we take a look, I think it was these 4 pins on the bottom and 4 pins on the top. And if you look at these solder pads, let's see if we can zoom in. You can probably see it there, but let's zoom in. You can see, there we go, focus there, that it once was, that IC was once attached to these solder pads right here, but it is not any longer. So I say let's attempt to put it back on. What do you think? I'm gonna get set up here. I'm going to first get that IC off and try and straighten the pins out. First things first, anti-static precautions, and I have a little, can you see that? Yes, little platform here. I have the soldering iron heating up. You might be wondering why I do this. Well, these mats, these anti-static mats, they're really not that cheap, and I don't have that many extras, so you'd be surprised at what a soldering iron can do to these things. I contacted the seller of these things. I actually bought them on eBay. The guy is, or the company or whatever, is sending a brand new one. No charge. I asked him what he wanted to do with this one. He said dispose of it in any way that I saw fit. So I'm deciding to try and fix it. There are 3 slots, and I could use 3 of these They're only like $6 each. You might be wondering why I'm doing this. Well, it is the time of coronavirus and I am bored. You can, there we go. You can see that the pins are pretty mangled. I'm going to put this thing under the microscope and try and straighten those out. You're not going to be able to see this as I work, so I'm going to bring you back after that's done. I managed to straighten the pins, what's left of them. I don't know if it'll focus, but I broke off pin number 1. Focus. You can take my word for it. Pin number 1 is gone there, as you can see. Yeah, I don't know if it's needed or not. This is what this thing is this is an EEPROM for the RAM. It when whatever piece of electronics this thing is in, when it boots up, when it's powered on, it queries that EEPROM to basically figure out what it is, you know, what kind of RAM module is in it. So that is what that is. And not every single pin on these things is needed or used. So I'm gonna just stick this on and see what happens. It may or it may not work. And if it doesn't work, we're no worse shape than we were before. And if it does work, that would be great. So I'm going to clean up these pads, and I will actually, let me get some solder flux and you can watch me clean up these pads. Alright, I've cleaned up the pads. Now, I'm going to put just a, you know what, this solder is too thick. Let me see if I have something thinner, like this. This is a 0.015 diameter solder, very, very thin. Let me start with this. And I'm going to just solder, just put a dab on one of the pads. When soldering small ICs like this, you really can never have too much flux. It really gets the solder flowing where you want it to be flowing. After struggling with that soldering job for a little bit, I think I got it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the resistance between the pins, make sure I don't have a dead short. So if it shorts, I'll hear a tone. If it's not, then I probably do not. Short beeps like that indicate some sort of capacitance or discharge. There's no direct connect between them. Looks like I do not have any shorts between my pins. That is good. I'll show you the solder job under the microscope. Not the best job, but I think it'll do. And we'll see if it even works. Or I doubt that it's going to work. I'm probably giving it a, I don't know, 20% chance of working without that pin. There is a small chance, but I doubt it. There is one side. I'm actually holding you up to the lens this time. And there's the other side. Definitely soldered. Not the best job. It does not look like a reflow machine did it. I can tell you that much. I just installed it, slot 2 in the machine. I'm gonna plug it in and we'll see what we get. I'm not expecting much. It initialized, it says it's ready. Oh, why don't we print the configuration and see what it says? What do you think? We'll look at it together. Empty. That's what I thought. Not gonna work. Tried one final thing. I took a piece of 30 gauge wire and kind of plopped it on the pin with a whole bunch of solder and a whole bunch of flux, and I kind of bridged, kind of got it soldered to the stump and to the pad. The little piece of wire acted as a kind of solder bridge. It's a little trick I learned on the job when I was young, so I'm gonna give this one more try. This is obviously not production worthy. I'm just curious whether I can make it work or not. Here we go, try 2. Ha ha ha! Look at that! Oh, it worked. It worked, it worked, it worked. I guess the question is, am I gonna leave it like that? That thing is really jury-rigged together. I mean, solder joints like that are super prone to cracking and failing in the long run through repeated, heat-cool cycles, on-off cycles, things like that. I don't know. What do you think? Well, thanks for joining me on this fun little trip. Yeah, I don't know. It was just a fun project to see if I could make a $6 RAM chip work. And I was able to, even though the pin, one of the pins broke off of it, I was still able to make it work. I'm happy. I'm proud of myself. I feel good. And now I gotta clean up. But yeah, anyway, thanks for joining me. If you like these videos, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next week.